and welcome to the Unsure to Unstoppable podcast. My name is James Dunn, and I was adopted. I grew up in a household with an alcoholic father, and I was arrested for attempted armed robbery when I was 17 years old. Why do I share that with you in this podcast introduction? Well, because while you may not have gone through any one of those specific set of circumstances yourself, you've had your own version of them, whether it's a loss of a job, a divorce, you were picked on as a kid. Something in your life has created this little voice in the back of your head that's made you doubt yourself, question yourself and what you're truly capable of. As a podcast host and as a mindset coach, what I do is I help you tell that little voice in the back of your head to shut the fuck up, get out of your own way, and move from unsure to unstoppable. And how I plan to do that is each week I'm going to bring you stories of inspiration, motivation, my own challenges, my own struggles, as well as those of others who've gone through challenging times, rough times, things that most people maybe just didn't think they could ever get through, but have not only gone through them, but come out thriving on the other side of them. And through the sharing of those stories, I hope to help you see that you're not alone in this journey called life. Whatever you've gone through, whatever challenges you're having right now, it doesn't matter. You are a fucking badass and you deserve an amazing, incredible life, and we're going to help you get there. So with that, enjoy today's show. Hello, and welcome back to the show. All right, on today's episode, what we're going to talk about is a concept that you're, I'm sure, on some level familiar with, but it's something we talk about, I think, quite a bit in the personal development space as we are growing, evolving, trying to become the best version of ourselves. Something we talk about a lot is the future version of yourself. And this is something I've actually touched base on in a recent episode of the podcast, but I want to dive a little bit deeper into it today specifically because, it's a new year. We probably got big goals. I know I've got big, massive goals, but what's got me really focusing on this a lot lately, I'm holding up here in the video version of the podcast, is a book called Be Your Future Self Now by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And fucking amazing book. I really love this book. I don't know if I would necessarily say it's the greatest read per se. It's not a bad read by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a great collection of a lot of thoughts, ideas that I had heard in many, many other places. And so it's almost like a nice little textbook. And I say that in the nicest way possible, because it's not like a dry textbook that you're going to read in school, but a great collection of a lot of different ideas that you might otherwise have to end up reading 10 different books to get. They're all contained inside this one book. So I would highly recommend it, and I'll link it up in the show notes. But this idea of the future self, the future version of you, and really tapping into that. And if you're not familiar with the idea of tapping into the future version of you in the personal development space, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory on it, or how it really plays into what we teach a lot. And what it is becoming the future version of yourself now. Let's say you have a goal, and I don't know why I always want to use money, but whatever, I don't even want to go down that road. Let's just say whatever the future version is of you that you are striving to be that person now. And what I mean by that is this idea of you don't have money necessarily in your bank. If you are making $50,000 a year, or you're making $100,000 a year, you don't necessarily have the money in your bank yet, but you can start acting like that person, the future version of yourself now. If you don't have the relationship that you want, you can start acting like that person now. You can start loving yourself. You can start treating yourself with love and caring, which would open the door for someone else to want to do that as well. If you don't have the career that you want, if you don't have the job that you want, you can start acting like the person who does have that job. And I don't mean faking anything, but I just mean if you want to be in a certain network, then you start hanging out the place where those people hang out. There are habits and routines and disciplines that you can adopt now, long before you get to the point of where the goal is that you are trying to get to, that will help you get there faster. And so that's what I'm talking about tapping into the future version of yourself now. And what I want to do is I want to dig a little bit deeper. I'm going to go a little bit beyond that and really encourage you to love your future self more than you love your current self. I'm going to say that again. Love your future self more than you love your current self. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is grabbing onto the idea of delayed gratification. That's another thing Another concept you might have heard of is delayed gratification. And so that is giving up something you want right now for something you want more in the future. So instead of, if we're going to use money, instead of going blowing your money at the bar with your friends on a Saturday night, saving that money, putting it towards an investment property that's going to pay you money back. It means, I don't know what else it means right now, but you kind of get the idea. It just means not getting caught up in the feeling, the emotion of what you want right here in this moment, and setting that aside to remember that if I put this aside for right now, it's going to make me 10 times happier if I can just wait until tomorrow or the next day or the day after that. And some really great examples that I want to share with you, or just simple examples, is, and this is, I'm definitely not talking about the jab, but if you need to get a shot, if there's a certain medicine that you need that you know will help you, and again, not talking about the fucking jab, because fuck that shit. But anyway, if you need to get a shot that you know will help you, it's something that's going to make you healthier, it's going to make you whatever. It's not something that in the moment it's going to feel good. It's going to fucking hurt a little bit. No matter who you are, if you get a shot, it fucking hurts. It's not the worst pain in the world, but it's definitely not something that anybody looks forward to. But if you know that, hey, if I get this shot, if I take this medicine, whatever it is, the doctor, let's just, I don't know, God, it's hard to picture a specific shot that I can say that doesn't have some kind of negative connotation to it, but I'm sure there's got to be something out there. But we've all had shots, like if we had to get immunized when we were going into school, whatever. Something's going to prevent a specific disease. Let's say if you have a specific disease and you know this shot is going to help you combat that, you know, in that specific moment, it's not going to feel good to get that shot. But as you put that aside and think about your future self, like, hey, this is going to make me feel so much better tomorrow, the next day, this is going to help me, it's going to benefit me. If we think about taking medication, maybe you don't like taking, I know somebody who has cystic fibrosis, and he has to take a lot of pills, and he hates taking these pills. He fucking hates taking pills, but he knows that by taking these pills, it has had a huge dramatic effect on his CF. And he is living the type of lifestyle that he only dreamed of at one time because he's willing to take these pills, even though he hates them. And that reminds me of a great line in the movie As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson. He's madly in love with this woman and he wants to be with her. And he's just this OCD guy and he hates taking his fucking pills. But he says he takes the pills because he wants to be a better man for this woman in the movie. And it's something similar. It's knowing that you're going to do something right now that you don't really like doing, or maybe that you don't want to do, or isn't as exciting as you would like for it to be, but knowing damn good and well that by doing this thing, it's going to make you a better person. It's going to give you the results that you really, really want. And so that is one. Another one, doing exercise. This is something that we wake up quite often if we have an exercise routine, if we've got this plotted out. For me, I run Saturdays and Sundays. That's my routine right now. And I do rowing exercises Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But specifically, let's use the running examples. Many, many days I wake up, and especially as we're in winter, as I'm recording this, I wake up. This morning it was 30 degrees, 31 degrees, I think. Yesterday it was 29. There have been days where I've woken up and it's raining. There have been days I've woken up and it's snowing. There are days I wake up and I just don't fucking feel like it. But I know that if I get myself out of bed, if I can just challenge myself, push myself to get over that initial hump, that initial resistance, if I get out there and if I do the run, which I'm not even necessarily going to love doing the run itself, but if I can do those things when I get done with the run, I'm going to feel really fucking good about myself. I'm going to feel proud that I got up, resisted those urges just to lay in bed, resisted that urge not to do the exercise. I'm going to feel proud of myself for accomplishing a task that I wanted to do, that I knew was going to make me feel better. And that's the thing, is it's going to make me feel really good when I'm done with it. It's going to make me feel so much better through the course of the day. I feel more alive. I have much more energy. I sleep better. There's so many amazing benefits to doing that exercise. but I have to go through that initial resistance, that initial pushback from that voice in my head, from my body, from the universe on some level, saying, no, don't do this. You don't need to. Just stay in your nice, warm, cozy bed. Nobody's going to know the difference. I'm going to know the difference. So this is me showing love to my future self, saying, you know what? Current me says, fuck this. Says, I don't want to fucking do this. But future me, I love you and I'm going to do this for you. And that's something to really think about too, is think about how much you would do for somebody that you love. If you had a loved one, you've got a child, you've got a spouse, you've got a parent, you've got somebody that you love, how many things would you do for them at the drop of a hat? You wouldn't even question yourself. You wouldn't even think twice about it. You would do almost anything for this person that you love. But would you do those exact same things for yourself? Would you save money for you that you would save for someone else in a heartbeat? So if you had $10,000, let's say you just won $10,000, you might look at it for yourself and say, oh my God, I'm going to go blow this. It was $10,000. It means nothing. Hey, it's free money. Woohoo. I can just go spend it. But if that $10,000 was given to you for a college education fund for your child, or to help pay some medical bills for your family, would you then turn around and spend that $10,000 on yourself and blow it? No, fuck no, you wouldn't. You would save that money. You would put that money towards them. So treat yourself that same way. Take that $10,000 that you just won or just earned or whatever it happens to be, and put that towards your education. Put that towards your medical bills, or improving your health, making you a better person. Do the things that you would do for others for yourself. Separate you from your future self, because when you really give yourself that little buffer, when you take that step back and look at you as who you are today, but also look at who you are tomorrow, the next day, 5 years down the road. And I wouldn't go too far down the road, because when it gets too far down the road, then you're like, oh, fuck that guy. Yeah, 10-year down the road guy. I mean, I've got another 5 years. I've got another 2 years. I got all this other time that I can make this day up. I can just go back, if this 10-year down the road guy, I can, in 5 years from now, then I'll take care of it. But for this 5 years, I'm taking care of me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to focus on me for right now. Today, me, that's who needs this shit. That's who needs this money. That's who needs to relax. That's who needs to just have all this time off and whatever. Cool. I get it. But what happens is that 5 year down the road, marker comes up so much faster than you realize. You've made zero progress. And now you only got 5 years to do it instead of 10 years to do it. And if you had just taken that time when you initially started it, then it would be so much easier, because you've got momentum. You've got, discipline built into your life. You got into your lifestyle. And it's so much easier to help that 10-year down the road guy. But again, don't stretch this out too far. Really think about, for me, a lot of times it's, what would tomorrow me want? What's something very loving that I can do for tomorrow me? Because that's somebody I can really connect to. Even later today me, what does that guy want? When you're looking at getting junk food, snacks, this is a great example I share with people. Recently, I had a conversation with a young guy. He's in his mid-20s, and he made a joke about the food he was eating. It was a Monster energy drink, and I forget what the food was he was having. But he was like, breakfast of champions, laughing and thinking it was hilarious. And I shook my head, and I'm like, I get it. I mean, you're young. You think this is the greatest thing ever. And there was a time in my life that I probably would have thought the same thing, or felt the same thing, and act the same way. Because I remember very vividly when I was much younger, eating a fucking full bag. And I'm not talking like the little mini bags. I'm talking like a fucking full bag of Doritos for lunch, having, chugging Mountain Dews 2 or 3 at a time, doing all these things. But it makes my stomach turn now to even consider doing those things. And maybe that's an age thing, but there are foods in my life right now that I will avoid, because even though I know right now in this moment, it's going to taste fucking amazing. I mean, glazed donuts, man. Oh, they're fucking great. I love them. But if I have even more than one, especially 2, 3, 4, that I could seriously, very, very easily sit down and eat if I just went by what I want in that moment. I know I'm going to get a fucking sugar rush. I'm going to get a headache. It's just not going to end well. I'm not going to feel good. And so I love future me enough to say no. Maybe I'll have one on a very rare occasion. But even then, I'm very hesitant. I'm very resistant to it. And it's just, if I feel, it's not like I deserve it, quote unquote, but you know what? I'm willing to put up with that. I know going into the situation what's going to happen. And I've decided that I'm okay with that for today. There's the distinction. If you look at the decision you're about to make and you're fine with knowing that, okay, tomorrow me, tonight me, a year from now me is going to suffer in some way, and I'm okay with that, cool. But don't fucking kid yourself that by taking this action now that you're not going to pay for it later, because you are. Learn to separate yourself from who you are now to who you are in the future and be extremely loving, caring, giving to that person. Really lean into that future version of yourself and tap into those feelings. That's the other part of this, is really tapping into those feelings of who you are, because that person loves you and needs you to be supportive of them, because the only way they get to exist is if you love them and do the things that they need you to do. So I know I got a little fucking weird there just for a second, but truly, truly, truly lean into this idea of loving future self more than current self. All right, get out there. Have an amazing fucking day, and I'll see you next time. Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Before I hang up this mic and cut off on this episode, speaking of future self, if you want to step into the future version of yourself, if you want to be the best fucking version of you that you can possibly be, reach out to me. I'm launching Amplify. I've launched Amplify by the time this episode comes out. And it is a program designed specifically to help you become the best version of yourself, to crank up the volume on your inner rock star and silence your critic. It's designed to help you live the life that you've always fucking known that you deserve, that you want to live. And we do that by getting rid of all that bullshit noise that's in your head. You want to lose weight. You want to make more money. You want to have a better relationship. You want to create an amazing business for yourself. You want to elevate yourself and start living the life that you dream of, traveling more, doing all these things. And every single fucking bit of that's available to you right here, right now, if we can learn to let go of that little voice that's in the back of our heads that's telling us, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I'm not capable, I don't have the tools to do this. It's all fucking bullshit. Again, let's crank up that voice on your inner rock star and get you the life that you deserve, that I know that you want to live. If that's something you're interested in, reach out to me, shoot me a DM on the social medias and with the word Amplify, or check the show notes for the word, or for a link for the application. Depending on when this episode goes out, doors may be closed, but if not, definitely get an application in, because if you miss this round, I can get you into the next round. This is going to be something that is going to be life-changing. It's going to be transformative. It's something that I know will absolutely help you get to the place that you want to be in life. And I want to be there to help you do that. All right, now get out there. Have an amazing fucking day, and I'll see you next time. If you found value in this episode, please share it with your friends. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and anywhere else that you happen to hear it. We are just trying to celebrate life, make it better for everyone, and sharing these messages with them just helps them believe in themselves and what can be better than that.